So they said, well, we got to create some new doctors. So they start giving people PhDs, doctorates. And the job of a doctorate is to make sure that you keep black folks from getting out of hand. That's the doctorate's job. There are no black institutions on earth owned, operated, and controlled by African people who are empowered to give out a doctorate. There are black schools with black faculties and mostly Jewish money, if not white foundation money, from the Mellons, the Fords, the Guggenheimers, the people who made all the glass, and the people who, Firestone, who owned the rubber plantations, the DuPonts who made all the guns and the ammunition to shoot in the guns, that these foundations, they support black colleges. Oh, man, why you say that when you had Negro College Fund? All the money that they have raised through the Negro College Fund in the history of raising the money wouldn't endow one black college. That money is Europeans' money given to institutions who have black people. Just recently have black as presidents of these colleges. I don't know whether you know that. You know, it was only in the last 25 years that Howard University had a black college president. And the reason why was because it was white money, and white people put who they want in charge. Until today, if you want to be in charge at Meharry or at Southern or at Grambling, you better get right with the Ford Foundation or the Rockefeller Foundation or the Mellon Foundation or the Guggenheim Foundation. Because they don't care what you and I think about, well, I'd like to have Joe Blow for the college president. They said, Joe Blow, we have a brother with a doctor's degree from Harvard, Princeton, or Yale. And especially do we have him from the University of Chicago, who we're going to put in charge, because we always want to know what you people are doing. And we have to have our man there, or our woman now, to keep track of what you're doing, because y'all would get out of hand. Y'all would, in fact, start a revolution. But every time you rise up to do anything, here comes a fellow with a doctor's degree and probably a Rhodes Scholar to boot to tell you, oh, y'all don't need to do that. You know better than, and y'all causing all kind of trouble. Y'all gonna get yourselves in trouble. You're already in trouble. When you was born, you was in trouble. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you ever get out of this and do some of the things that I'm talking about, it's going to be because you read some of these books, that you understand what Garvey was talking about. Garvey, who his UNIA, United Negro Improvement Association, had 5.5 million members, paid. That's more members than any other black organization in the history of the world have ever had. Haven't been any before nor since. But Garvey did not have a doctor's degree. But W.E.B. Du Bois had one. And he, along with Schuyler and some other blacks, ran Marcus Garvey out of the United States because they were doing what white folks told them to do. And they had to do it because they had a doctor's degree. And I don't trust people with doctor's degrees. I'm cold and hard with that. And of course, I have some of them in my family, many people who I certainly am friendly with. But I don't trust them, because I know that they couldn't have the doctor's degree if their first allegiance wasn't to the white system. That's their first allegiance. They may lie and say anything they want to do, but I do not trust anybody who claims to be a leader who needs somebody else other than himself or his people to pay his mortgage on his house, to pay the note on his car, to send his children to school. See, if you have those kind of needs that have to be met by somebody outside of your race and your community, then you're lying when you say that you are for black people. See, I came back from Paris, France, my lovely wife and I, to attend the first March on Washington. And believe me, the white power structure had taken that march over from A. Philip Randolph and Bayard Ruskin and made it into a grand picnic. And as Malcolm said about it, and he was there incidentally. How do I know he was there? Because we were meeting in the same room together. See, so people can't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. But he said about the march that the white power structure in Washington told black folks to come on in and have as much fun as you want, but be out of town by sundown. And believe me, I was there, and when sundown came, you couldn't find a black person around the mall. I'm trying to make you understand something, because we're going to get out of this mess, but it's going to be after you understand some things and you start to do some things differently from the way you've been doing them. You got people parading around, well, I'm a Rhodes Scholar. Cecil Rhodes was to black people. Hear me carefully, because you see you got plenty of Rhodes Scholars. Mel Reynolds is one of them. You know, that Cecil Rhodes was to black people the same as Hitler was to Jews. And I had a black sister tell me no more than 3 or 4 weeks ago, Mr. Rogers, I went to see Schindler's List and I cried like a baby because they mistreated those Jews so badly. And I said, sister, I've been knowing you for 20 years. She ain't but about 23. I've been knowing you for 20 years. I have never heard you cry because of the black Holocaust, where you lost at least 100 million people. At least 100 million. And you tell me you crying over Schindler's List about 3 million Jews getting cooked? I certainly don't want nobody to go to the gas chamber. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm talking now to my African brothers and sisters. There certainly are white people listening to this program. I know that. But I'm not talking to them. I'm not any more concerned about white people than white people are concerned about me. And I happen to know from my history, I'm 74 years old in this country, I know that white people are not concerned about me. See, I went to high school, Morgan Park High School here in the city of Chicago, where in most classes I was the only black, and the teachers, the principal, everybody there talked to the group as if I wasn't there. And that's the way I talk to my brothers and sisters. There are no white people in this studio audience, but if there were, I would say the exact same things, because I talk to my black brothers and sisters as if white people weren't there.